Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to the start of another week. It's Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK and it's not raining at the moment. And it's the start of a new story. People say, does he tell stories? No, what we do on the channel, we take an artist or a band and we go through their career and we cover everything they do. Usually the people have got lots, and this next artist has, and it's Sir Rod Stewart. He has had a very successful solo career, of course. He's just had a #1 album in the album charts with Jules Holland. We will be looking at that towards the end, but we're going to kick off the Rod Stewart story where it all started for him, and it happens to be one of my favourite guitarists, and that's Jeff Beck, the Jeff Beck group. And he also gave the start for a friend of Rod, and they have been friends ever since, and that's Ronnie Wood. So the Jeff Beck group was formed in 1967. Early people in there were Jet Harris from the Shadows, Dave Ambrose, Clem Clancy and Viv Price. And during, the other person that played there was Ainsley Dunbar. Ronnie Wood was on bass. So they had got this lineup, and with Rod on vocals. Now, Rod made 2 albums with the Jeff Beck group. So we're going to have a look at them. We've done them before, but we can go a little bit more about what Rod was doing, because the other was actually based on Jeff. So I listened to them again, and to be quite honest, they have still came out the way that when I ranked them part of the Jeff Beck discography. So coming in at #2, we have the debut album Truth, which came out on the 29th of July 1968. And the band, of course, is Mr. Jeff Beck himself, Rod on lead vocals, Ronnie Wood on the bass, and Mickey Waller on the drums. So the first track on here is a cover song, and it is the Yardbirds' Shape of Things, and I think Rod sings this great. It just happens you've got a great guitar player. Ronnie's bass is great. It's just a great track, and I think Rod does a great version of it. Then we have a track called Let Me Love You, which is co-written by Jeff and Rod. This is a great track, one of my favourites on here. I think Rod, in his early days, he's got this wonderful vocal that he can sing anything. And back in his early days, he was great at the bluesy numbers, and this is brilliant. I do like this. Ronnie Wood's bass line is brilliant on this as well. It's just a great track. Morning Dew, which is a Bonnie Dobson number. She's a Canadian singer-songwriter, and this first came out in 1962. It's a little bit different from the original. It's got some lovely wah-wah, and it's got a really what would I say it? It's a different vocal, obviously, from the original, but it's a very moving vocal from Rod. Excellent little track. Now, we have got You Shook Me next, which is a Willie Dixon number. Okay, the Led Zeppelin did this. And it's just quite ironic that 2 members of the Yardbirds have covered this. Of course, Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck. Now, a lot of people say this, that Jeff Beck was doing what Led Zeppelin did after. So did the Led Zeppelin copy Jeff Beck Band? But this is a great song, and Rod's vocal on it is terrific. I love this song. Is it as good as Led Zeppelin? Yeah, it's up there. It's absolutely brilliant. Then we have an old track written by Oscar Hammerstein. It's called Old Man River. It's all right. Not particularly a favourite track. I've got another version of this by the Spotniks, and that's worse. I'm not keen on this one. Then we have Jeff doing a bit of guitar work on Green Sleeves, which is nice and is brilliant. Of course, allegedly written by Henry VIII. Rock My Plimsoll. Great blues number. Brilliant vocal from Rod. I do like his vocals on that. It's absolutely great track. Then we get Beck's Bolero. It is my favourite track on here, but but this is about Rod, so I won't be putting this in the playlist today, but I just love that. Then we have Blues Deluxe. There's another bluesy thing. Then we have a great track. This is my favourite track on here with Rod, and it's a brilliant version of Howlin' Wolf's I Ain't Superstitious. Rod is on fire on this. This is just brilliant. I love this. One of Rod's finest vocals he did with the Jeff Beck group. Brilliant stuff. And this is the last track. I love this album. I love it because of guitar playing. I love it because of Rod's vocals. It's just an absolute jaffer of an album that I do love playing. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.4. It actually is the same as... I couldn't change its ranking from the previous one because it's just that good. But my number one is... and it is my favourite Jeff Beck album of all time. And it's Beck-Ola, his second album. Got Jeff Beck on here, Rod Stewart, and Ronnie Wood, and Tony Newman on the drums, and the legendary Nicky Hopkins on piano and organ, who Nicky played with everybody, didn't he? So, what a lineup. First track up is a cover of Elvis Presley's All Shook Up. It's a different version, and I think this one's got a little bit more oomph. I like both versions of this song, of course, but I think Rod sings this absolutely brilliant. Then we have a thing called Spanish Boots, absolutely brilliant track. Some great drumming on this. It's just top drawer stuff. Then we have The Girl from Mill Valley. Now this is written by Nicky Hopkins, and it's got some fine piano on this. Good little track. Then they do a version of Jailhouse Rock. Brilliant version. Rod on fire. He really did sing great on these covers and Elvis. Brilliant track. Then we have Plinth, Water on the Drain. Great track, some great riffs from Jeffers, course. And you got this real gravelly Rod vocal. Some great drumming from Tony. Brilliant track. Then we get The Hangman's Knee. Good little rocker. I would say this is my favourite Rod track on here. He's just pure vocal skills. Wonderful vocal. And it's that driving bass line from Ronnie Wood as well. Ronnie and... as you know, Ronnie and Rod would work together many, many times. Then we do have Rice Pudding. It is my favourite track on here, but it's not got no singing on it, but it's just a great track. As I said before, there's not much between Truth and Beck-Ola. I actually think that Rod's singing on this album is better all round. You know, nervous start when you his first album, you know, his first major sort of thing, but he really settled in and puts a fine performance on the last album that he did with the Jeff Beck group. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. Okay, very short one, but it's an important one in Rod's career. This is how he got started, and it was nice of Jeff to give Rod and Ronnie their break. And you know, over the years, Rod and Jeff's they all three of them remain friends, even though they left. So, which was great. I know when Jeff died, both Rod and Ronnie made some great tributes to the legend. Okay, next week we move on to the second sort of phase of Rod's career. And it's again, he worked with Ronnie Wood and lots of great musicians, and that, of course, is the Faces. So we'll be looking at the Faces next week. I forgot to mention at the top of the video, this is sort of a request as well for my mate Lee. He's a huge fan. He's a member of the fan club. He's seen him loads of times. So I've had a lot of help on this one from Lee. He's the man you go to when you want to talk about Rod, and I know he's going to put this on some of his Facebook pages of Rod. So I hope I haven't not got everything wrong. So that's all for this one. I'll be back with a perfect album, and it is a viewer's request. It's come from Pulsar, but it's an album I love, and that's Misplaced Childhood by Marillion. So join me for that later. Bye for now.